po, sir. Good morning po, sir. We are chapter 11 and we are discussing uh, writing proposal and writing up the research. So, ano nga ba pag sinabi nating proposal? What is proposal? Proposal is a kind of idea na sinishare na pinapakita natin sa isang tao na your idea is gonna work, na meron kang magagawa na meron kang magagawang something and something different. So, meron tayong mga types of proposal. Meron tayong formal proposal, informal, uh, meron tayong internal, external, grant, sale, solicited, and unsolicited. So, mag-focus lang tayo dito ngayon sa research proposal, na which is na-follow siya into a written formal proposal. So, research proposal, chance to explain the significance of your project to organizations who might wish to fund or otherwise support it. It will demonstrate the quality and importance of your project as well as your ability to conduct the proposed research. So, ang research proposal, ito yung uh, ito yung idea mo na ipe-present mo to different people. For example, magandang analogy dyan is kung gagawa ka ng isang research proposal sa isang coffee shop, pwede mo sabihin na yung coffee shop na yon is kailangan mo ng new flavors to get more customers. Parang ganun yon. So, you will research or you will conduct surveys na kung ano ba yung mga gusto or wants ng mga customers mo na magiging in demand at magiging patok dun sa magiging business na, na mag-follow up din sa research proposal na i-conduct mo nga sa isang coffee shop. So it will demonstrate the quality and importance of your project. Dito nga pinapakita natin yung quality and importance ng project mo na may magaganap dun sa mismong certain company na which is yung sinabi kong coffee shop na yung research may mag-a-apply doon. It outlines the key questions, objectives, methodology, and potential outcomes. May kita rin dito na ang potential outcomes na lalabas dito, uh, yung key questions, which is kung ito ba ay papatok, kasi pwede mo siyang ma-predict in a way of pag nakuha mo yung certain objective, papasok siya ng next methodologies na meron kang step-by-step process to para magawa tong certain proposal na ipapakita mo. And syempre mape-predict mo rin yung mga potential outcomes kasi may kita mga regressions and something na pwedeng mag-predict ng kanilang difference kapag which is kapag yung pinopose mo pinopose mo na idea or research is magiging applicable ba siya dun sa mismong business or company na paggagawan mo nito. Dito mo rin makikita yung direction, scope, and feasibility of your project. Na which is dito mo nga siya mape-predict kung ano yung susunod na mangyayari. Ano nga ba ang goals ng research proposal? What do you plan to accomplish? Ano nga ba yung mga gusto mong ma-accomplish? Ito yung mga part na gusto mong ma-achieve within that proposal. Kapag nagpo-propose ka, meron ka dapat ma-achieve. Meron ka dapat makukuhang certain something out of your proposal. Next one is, why do you want to do it? Bakit mo gustong gawin yung proposal na yun? In the first place, bakit ka gagawa ng proposal nga naman? Kagaya na example ko kanina, kung ito ay coffee shop at gusto mong paangatin pa yung mismong sales or gusto mong maging patok yung ganon or gusto mong gumawa ng new trend, kumbaga. Doon mag-fall off yung why do you want to do it. Kaya yung proposal na yun, ipapakita mo, bibigay mo yung idea na yun dun sa certain company na i-imitate din ng karamihan na ipopropose din nila at paano pa nila pagagandahin. So doon na nag-evolve yung proposal na which is na nanggaling dun sa mismong isang lugar lang. how are you going to do it? So, as I said earlier, yung proposal is ginagawa siya ng step-by-step process. So, yung step-by-step process, meron tayong preparation, at syempre, meron din tayong conducting of surveys na kung paano mo siya gagawin. In a way of paano mo siya may apply dun sa certain people, dun sa certain company, na makukuha mo siya in the research din. Na which is yung mga tanong na nandoon ay pwede mo ring ma-apply dun sa mga makukuha mo sa kanila. So, meron nga bang mga kailangan na certain skills required kapag nagpo-propose ng research? Syempre, meron yan. Research skills and broad knowledge. Dapat, kung gagawa ka ng isang research proposal, na sinabi ko rin kanina, na yung surveys yung mismong pagkukuhanan mo. Within that survey, meron ka pa dapat other knowledge about that, na you have certain knowledge about these other companies na ganito yung ginawa nila. Sabi mong ito ay nag-fail, ito ay nagpatuloy. In a way of, meron ka pang research skills at meron kang background tungkol doon. At paano mo siya may-execute ng mas maganda pa dun sa kanilang ginawa. Parang hindi mo dapat ulitin yung history, di ba? Kasi kung meron ng bad na nangyari dun sa certain na pinopost dati, yun na yun. Magiging magiging fail din yun kung hindi mo siya i-improve. So, methodological skills, dito mapapakita yung step by step, which is yung sinabi ko kanina, nagsimula sa preparation, survey, and yung so and so forth. So, makikita na rito yung tuloy-tuloy na skills mo, kung paano mo siya i-execute one by one gracefully. So, analytic skills, dito naman makikita mo rito yung pag-analyze. By the word itself, analytic skills. Paano mo may analyze? Kumbaga, kung may nangyari dito sa certain something, sa certain part ng ng methods, pag may nangyari sa part ng method mo, dapat meron ka ng backup. Meron ka na agad naisip na what if ito ay di nag-work. You will proceed to another. So, kung merong list ka ng backups, meron dapat yan na kung hindi man na A to C, ikaw bahala kung gagawa ka rin na A to Z. Ano naman yan? It depends on the people kung paano sila gumawa ng different backup plans. Dun papasok yung pag-analyze mo. Kung ito ba'y di mag-work, ito ba'y para talaga dito sa certain company na to, or sa certain place na to, ganun yon. So, next is communication skills. Dapat eloquent ka magsalita. Bakit? Kagaya na sinabi ko kanina dito, dun sa mga nagpo-propose ng research, pinapakita rito na yung research nila is fina-fund or may sumusuporta dun sa mismong sa proposal mo. Bakit? Kasi good idea kasi siya. In a way of ma-improve mo yung certain yung bagay na yon, yung pinopropose mo. May improve mo kasi na mas magaganda pa yung kondisyon ng company na gagawan mo ng isang research proposal. So, project management, makokonect rin natin yan sa analytic skill and methodological skills. Na paano mo i-execute one by one gracefully yung iba't ibang mga bagay. Yun lang po sa akin. Thank you.
So, ayun po, good day, sir, classmates. I'm Diana Mustasisa, and I'll discuss my share of the report, which is the contents and structure of a research proposal. So, ayun nga, di ba? Ikaw ay isang researcher na naghahanap ng funds or ng may mag-fund sa'yo. So, dapat marunong ka o may alam sa paggawa ng research proposal. Kasi nga, i-convince mo yung readers to fund your research. So, ano-ano nga ba ang mga dapat na laman ng iyong research proposal? Next slide po. Number 1 is title. Di ba general knowledge naman na dapat ang title mo is appealing. o dapat makuha yung interest ng mga readers. Kasi syempre, ayun yung una nilang makikita sa iyong proposal, di ba? Yung title mo. Second is meaningful. Dapat mag-reflect sa title mo yung contents ng iyong study. Huwag maglagay ng kung ano-ano sa title na hindi naman related sa iyong research. Third is concise, meaning it should be as short as possible pero comprehensive. Dapat yung title is naiintindihan pa rin ng mga tao outside of your field. So, sa number of words naman, depende siya sa lugar and institution. Pero usually, nasa 5 to 15 words yung maayos na title. And it is also common for proposal titles to be very similar to your research question, hypothesis, or thesis statement. So, number 2, abstract. Sa abstract naman, nandito yung problem na i-address ng proposal mo. Nandito rin yung problem statement which contains the objectives and questions of your research. At nandito rin yung approach ng iyong research, kung qualitative ba siya, quantitative, mixed, and so on. Next slide po. So, number 3 is introduction. Sa introduction, nandun pa rin yung problem na i-address, problem statement, at research approach. Ang pinagkaiba niya sa abstract, dito sa introduction kasi, mas expanded yung info about sa tatlong yan. Sa first 3 na yan. Dapat ma-convince yung reader na sa problem ng iyong proposal at clearly defined na yung problem statement at approach. Ang mga nadagdag dito ay research purpose, questions, at significance na dapat ang mga to ay well-formulated na rin. So ayan nga may introduction ka na at nabasa na ng readers. Dapat maintindihan nila kung ano yung gusto mong mangyari o gawin sa proposal mo. At dapat ma-engage sila sa potential results ng iyong study. Kasi nga 'di ba gusto mo makakuha ng pondo. Also, ayan, take note na karamihan sa mga institutions at funding agencies ay hindi na nagre-require ng abstract or synopsis before the introduction. Diretso introduction na karamihan. Nilagay ko lang ang abstract kanina, last slide, for further info. So, ayun, next. Number 4, literature review. Sa literature review, dito dapat mapakita ang mastery ng researcher sa literature ng kanyang topic of interest. Dapat relevant or konektado yung lit review sa problem statement up to date, preferably not older than 5 years from the date the literature is cited. Dapat galing din sa credited sources tulad ng mga reputable journals and publishers. Like ayan yung mga nandyan, Sage, Oxford Press, Oxford University Press. So, kung relevant nga yung literature mo, up to date, at galing sa credible sources pero hindi naman well-reviewed, wala rin 'di ba? Sayang lang. So, dapat well-reviewed yung lit review ng iyong proposal. Dapat clear yung discussion ng core concepts at ma-define yung dimensions and relationships between those concepts. So, ayun nga. Next, your arguments should also flow logically. Dapat may structure yung lit review mo. Pwede kang maglagay dito ng headings and subheadings, parang ganun. So, hindi lang dapat parang essay type yung gagawin mo. Kung saan summarize yung lit review, dapat may contrasting, comparing, at combining din. And lastly, the summary. Dito naman nakalagay yung main points ng iyong lit review. Next slide po. Number 5, methodology. The methodology should consist of the following, but not limited to number 1, research strategy. Or ito yung overall plan ng iyong study. Nandito sa research strategy yung planning, executing, and monitoring of your research. Number 2 is study population or yung target population ng iyong study. Number 3, sampling method. It simply means the methods na gagamitin mo sa pag-select ng grupo kung saan mo makukuha yung data ng iyong study. Number 4 is data collection methods. This includes surveys, interviews, diba? Observations, experiments, focus groups, and etc. Number 5 is data analysis. Ito naman yung process of systematically applying logical or statistical techniques to analyze your data. So, nandun naman na sa word, di ba, data analysis, which simply means analyzing the data na nagather mo. And lastly, dapat nakalagay rin sa methodology ang limitations ng iyong study at kung paano ma-overcome ang mga yon, yung mga limitations. Next slide po. So, ayan, number 6, budget. So, ayun nga, gagawa ka ng proposal, need mo ng funding. Siyempre, dapat i-detail mo yung budget allocation ng iyong study. Kabilang na dito ay ang actual cost ng iyong research o yung totality ng magagastos mo, which includes yung mga kailangan mong materials, not necessarily tangible, di ba? Pwede rin siyang software. So, meron ding travel cost kung need mong mag-conduct ng interview or to gather data someplace else, di ba? And assistance, kung need mo ba ng assistance sa iyong study, di ba? Lahat ng yan ay nakapaloob sa budget. So, nalagay mo na lahat ng yan, dapat may justification naman. I-discuss mo dito, no, sa justification, yung necessity ng iyong budget. Emphasize why you need to have the costs you mentioned. And lastly, dapat may source. I-explain mo dito yung calculation ng iyong budget allocation. Number 7 is timetable. It simply means yung schedule ng iyong study. No, dapat realistic and within that time frame, within the schedule of your study, dapat matapos yung research mo. Kasi 'di ba, hindi ka naman siguro mapopondohan kung abutin ng ilang taon yung research mo. So be realistic. Pero depende pa rin kasi siya sa institutions at yung level ng iyong gagawing research. Next slide. Number 8. Ayan, nandito na tayo sa conclusion, no? Isa sa mga paraan para ma-conclude ang iyong research proposal is by presenting the anticipated outcomes of your study. So, ayun, outcomes. Dapat mo ring i-disclose dito sa conclusion ang mga arguments that you expect to reach. You must communicate, no, all essential information in your conclusion. And lastly, appendices. Dito may kita yung mga references na nakuha mo for your study. Usually, di ba, nasa dulot to ng iyong document under the heading references. Dapat sumusunod ang mga ilalagay mong references sa APA format style or the American Psychological Association. So, dapat sumusunod sa ganong format. The researcher must use information ethically. There should be no plagiarism, kaya nga may references. So, ayun nga, no? For the reminder, itong structure ng research proposal ay hindi fixed. Meaning, depende pa rin sa institution ng researcher kung ano yung mga ilalagay sa proposal. Katulad kanina sa abstract, no, yung nabanggit ko, kapag may introduction, no need na ng abstract. Or madalas, hindi talaga pinapalagay ng mga institutions sa proposal yung abstract, introduction na lang. So, next slide po. So, ayun lang po para sa Chapter 11, Research Proposal. Thank you po for listening.
Okay, so thank you so much, presenter. So I just want, of course, to add additional inputs related to the topic that was discussed by your classmate, of course. Of course, doing that research is very writing proposal and writing up the research is very challenging, no? In designing a research, one should consider his or her interest in the subject matter, availability of information, timeliness and relevance of the topic, limitations on the subject, and personal sources. No? It is easier to conduct research if you are interested in the topic, and because you are interested in the topic, you have probably had background on the topic and other related ideas. You had based on your experience and exposure. Good research design should be timely and fresh. And this means that it could be pioneering study which could contribute to the baseline profile of the research subject. It could also be a way of addressing the present situation that a certain community is facing, and a research is needed to determine the possible solutions to the present problem. Limitations of the research as it to its coverage, no? The time when the research should be conducted, as well as the ethical considerations in the resources of the researchers, both human resource and financial resources. There are actually topics, no, which should be avoided, such as controversial topics, no, highly technical subjects, hard to investigate subjects, too broad subjects, too narrow subjects, and bug subjects. So in order to help you in choosing a research topic, you could obtain something uh, from mass media, book, internet, peer-reviewed journals, government publications, professional periodicals, general periodicals, previous reading assignment, and experiences. So after choosing a research topic, think of the research problem that you want to address in your research topic. So research problem is the one which makes you worry and pushes you to exert considerable effort in finding a solutions for it. You are incapable of answering. So in response to research problem, you need to cite possible solutions to the problems, ways to understand the problem and how to collect data and analyze it. A research topic actually or problem is an intellectual stimulus calling for an answer in the form of scientific inquiry, because topics or problems are generally questions about relations among variables of characteristics of the phenomenon which a researcher need to undertake. Uh, in crafting your research, no, we need to understand how you'll be able to deal with an introduction. We need to begin by introducing your research topic and its significance. Clearly state the problem or questions you aim to address and provide background information that highlights the gap in current knowledge and why your research is necessary. You need to conclude with a succinct thesis statement outlining the purpose and the scope of your study. A while ago, no, I have mentioned about literature review. In doing research, we need to answer some research gap, or we need to look into a research gap for us to do or craft our own title. Present a comprehensive review of existing literature relevant to your research. No? You need to identify key theories. Take note, you need something to prove, like key theories, concepts, and findings that inform your study. Discuss the strengths and limitations of previous research, emphasizing how your work builds upon on diverge from existing knowledge. So this section should demonstrate your understanding of the current state of research in your field. In crafting your research objectives and hypotheses, it is nearly clearly articulate the specific objectives of your research and, if applicable, propose a hypothesis to be tested. We need to explain the rationale behind its objective and hypothesis, connecting them to the gaps. In the existing literature, this section should provide a roadmap for your study and highlight the expected contributions to the field. Another is the research and design and methodology. Describe your research design, including the type of study, either experimental, observational, qualitative, quasi-experimental, or qualitative, quantitative, or mixed methods, like using different sampling methods, and data collection techniques. You need to justify your choices, explaining how they align with your research objectives, and always provide details on data analysis procedures, ensuring transparency in your methodology, address potential limitations, and ethical considerations. In data collection, because you are required to have a chapter 1 to 3 with questionnaire, right? So you need to, in data collection, you need to present the details of your data collection process. You need to specify the population or sample or the instrument used and the procedures followed. If relevant, you need to discuss any challenges encountered during data collection and how they were mitigated. Highlight the reliability and validity of your data collection methods. And lastly is the data analysis results. Right after data collections, we need to have a data analysis and results. We need to discuss the methods employed to analyze your data. Present your results in a clear and organized manner using either tables, graphs, or other visuals or enhanced clarity. After that, we need to interpret your findings in the context of your research objectives and hypotheses and discuss any unexpected results and their implications. Avoid drawing broad conclusions at this stage and save that for the next discussions, no, most commonly. So we need to accept the fact that in writing a research, the title will serve as an overview. So the title consists of the information of the research study, and there are guidelines to follow in formulations of the research title, as well as indicators that will formulate research title is a good research title. Okay, so I think that's it for this topic.